everyone! So today's video is going to be a little bit of a different video. Now it is going to be a makeup video, but it's not going to be the usual beauty makeup that I do. I did sit down to film a beauty tutorial today, but it just didn't work out, so I scrapped that idea and decided to do this one. So this video is going to be how I create fake wounds using eyelash glue. Now some of you may not know, but before I was really into beauty makeup, I was heavily into special effects makeup. Now I'm not claiming to be the most amazing person with special effects. I've not gone to school for it. I have no formal training in it, but I taught myself tricks and tips, and I just kind of learned on my own, and I really enjoy doing it because it's a lot of fun. So I decided, why not show you guys how I do fake wounds with eyelash glue, because I had no clue what I wanted to film today, and the video I went to go do before just didn't turn out. So perfect opportunity to do something outside of the box. So if you guys want to see how I do fake wounds with eyelash glue, then just keep watching. The first thing that you're going to need for this is obviously some eyelash glue. Now this eyelash glue came in a pack of lashes, and I'm pretty sure it just came from the Kiss lashes that I had. Anyways, it says it's waterproof, but it does not matter what kind of eyelash glue you use. This one is a white one that ends up drying clear. I wouldn't suggest using the duo glue that is tinted, just because you don't necessarily want it being dark, because you're gonna have to blend this somehow to your skin tone later, and just trying to blend it when it's a dark glue is not going to be the easiest. So I highly suggest just picking up an eyelash glue, something that is white and dries clear, or I believe it's Revlon has an eyelash glue and it comes out in a brush and it's like blue and then dries clear. So yeah, just make sure you're using an eyelash glue that is going to dry clear. Once you have your eyelash glue, we're going to start making the basic shape. Now you don't have to have clean skin or anything, obviously, if you want to go for it, but it's going to be different no matter what part of your body you put it on. So when I'm doing it, I just kind of squeeze a little bit out, and I just start to map out the shape that I want. And you don't have to be super precise with it, but just kind of get it into the shape that you want. So you've got something that looks like that right now. It's very wet, and obviously you've just squirted eyelash glue onto your hand. I'll also suggest you might want to use a different eyelash glue than you actually use for your lashes, just in case of contamination or anything. But once you have it on and into the shape that you want, you need to let it dry. You can't really do anything else with it until it dries. I'll blow on mine, or you can get a blow dryer and put the blow dryer onto your hand or wherever and just kind of speed up the drying process. As you guys can see, when it starts drying, a bit of it starts to become like translucent and clear. Obviously all of the white stuff is still spots that need to dry, but you've got some spots over here that are already starting to dry. Once it starts to dry, I like to go ahead and start to pull up the edges with either a toothpick, or if your nails are long enough, you can just pull up the edges with your nails. And obviously it's a good idea to make it a little bit thicker around the edge. So what I'm gonna do is just go in with a little extra eyelash glue, and I am just going to thicken up that edge a little bit. The thicker edge will help for when you pull it back, because what the pulling back does is make it look like skin has been lifted, and that's ultimately the effect that I am going for right now. So I've just thickened that edge a tiny bit, and I'm going to go ahead and let that dry again. Okay, so as you can see, my glue is very, very close to being dried. So now I'm gonna go and pull some of those spots back. I'm going to just pull that glue back. And it's really up to you how far you want to pull it, but like I said, I'm going for the illusion of lifted and pulled back skin. Okay, so now I've got the shape as I want it, and as you can see, if I turn my hand this way, you can kind of see the liftedness of it. And I just like how it appears, and you can see that line, so that's going to be pretty much my guideline for the inside of the wound. Now, obviously, if you have liquid latex or flesh latex or whatever, you can use that instead of the lash glue, but I've never really mastered liquid latex, and I find that just the eyelash glue method is a lot easier for me. So once I have that down, I'm going to go ahead and put some foundation along the side to kind of give it a little bit of skin tone. So making the skin tone step is obviously optional, but I've just put some foundation on a paper towel instead of just squirting it onto my hand. And I'm going to take a Real Techniques foundation brush, and I'm just going to go along the outer edges and kind of put a little bit of the foundation just to kind of blend it in. Like I said, this step is optional. You don't have to do this, but I find it's just a little bit easier for kind of making it look like it's a little bit of skin. Okay, so after you have the foundation on, it looks something like that, and it really does help to kind of make the skin look a little bit more defined and lifted. You can really tell where that glue has been set with it like that. Now I'm gonna go ahead and color all of this stuff in. Now I have a couple of things that I'd like to use. I have this Graftabon palette. It is actually a skin tone palette. It's an old age palette. If I can get it open here, I'll show you guys. And it's got a couple reds, some purples, and some pinky colors. I don't know. I've never really played around with it all that much, but I'll use this as well as this injury stack. You've got a yellow, you've got a black, a purple, and a red. So I like to just buy like craft brushes from the dollar store, something that's easy to use, instead of dirtying up my really good makeup brushes for my face. But I am going to be using this tiny little Real Techniques brush as well, because I can't find all of my craft brushes, believe it or not. What I like to do to begin is start with the red, and I think I'm going to use this smaller brush right now. So I just like to get some of that red up on the brush, and then I'm going to start to line around the edges. And I just like to start lining first and kind of get underneath where the glue has been pulled up. And it's gonna look rough right now, but it'll look a lot better when the middle is filled in and when we add some definition to the middle of it. So yeah, I'm just gonna go around and line all of that. Okay, so I've pretty much got that line all lined out, and obviously if you don't have these types of paints or anything, you don't have the cream paints, feel free to use eyeshadow or whichever kind of cream base thing you have, or it doesn't have to be cream base. I just prefer to use the cream base for this. So after I've gotten that, I'm gonna go in and fill in the middle. So I'm just gonna drag the color out with the red, and if you want to use a bigger brush to help the process go a lot quicker, then by all means, I think I'm gonna switch to my bigger brush. So after the middle is filled in, you got something that looks like that, just like a big red spot. So this is when I start to build up colors to kind of give some dimension. Now, if you want to go ahead and work on the outside first, by all means, but I like to work on the inside first. So taking another small brush, I'm gonna go in and pick up some of that purple color. So I'm just getting some purple on my brush, and then I'm gonna go along the edges and wherever and just kind of lightly build up some definition. Like doing actual beauty makeup, start out light, build the color up, because it's a lot easier to just build things up and add to it than to try to take away, especially with creams. So I am just gonna go and start to build up some definition. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's just like a little bit of definition around there instead of there. So it's a process, but you want to start off slow because it's easier, so much easier to add to than to take away from. So as you can see there, I have built up some definition, and it's a little darker around the edges and a little more light inside. Now, if you wanted to fake appearance of a bone, because there's a bone running right there, you could totally put some white on there. I actually might try to do that. Let's try that out. So I have no clue how this is gonna look. You guys are seeing this for the first time. So I'm gonna find that bone right there. I'm just literally wiggling my finger so that the spot moves. So it's not perfect, but that's kind of cool. You got like a little bone type of thing going on in there. Something like that. Obviously, if you're a little bit better at shaping things than I am, it'll turn out much better. Now, I try to avoid the black because this black is so incredibly harsh, but I've got a little bit on my brush and I've just kind of wiped some of the black off. There you go. Onto the paper. It is incredibly harsh. I hardly even dip my pencil into it, but I'm gonna just outline a little further. Awesome. So now I like to go with a little bit of that yellow color and just kind of go around the outside of the wound. And you can go in with an eyeshadow if you want, but I am going to go ahead and put some purple just along the outside as like some bruising. So that's what it looks like with some bruising. You can see this way. Oh, that looks really cool. Oh, that's really cool. Sorry, I'm admiring my work because I've never tried putting like a highlight in there. That's really cool. So this is what it looks like. You've got some tearing up. Obviously though, it's not complete without some blood. I'm actually not sure where my blood is. So I'm just gonna take this lipstick palette and I'm going to use that red right there and just lightly dab it along the wound. And And so now it just kind of looks a little wet and gross. So this is the finished product, how to do wounds with eyelash glue. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. Thumbs up if you liked seeing something like this and you want to see more in the future. I totally love this stuff. Like I've said, I am not by any means a professional, but I kind of taught myself some tricks and tips, and it looks really cool in person, and hey, it's perfect for Halloween or just every day if you want to kind of spook somebody. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!